Now I'd like to invite Russell Benaroya to come on up from the company EveryMove. Russell is a TechStars alumni from TechStars Seattle 2.0, just completed here in November. And I asked Russell to talk about his experience in TechStars and why he did it. And now I'd like to let him talk. Thank you.
Great.
Thanks a lot, Russell.
Great. Thanks for having me.
Yes.
Who has watched American Idol here? Yeah. Virtually everybody. Dave Malcolm is your new Simon Cowell, for sure. and that is a bit of what you're walking into. So my name is Russell Benaroya. Let me give you a brief background on EveryMove. We are a mileage rewards program for your health. We help people turn their healthy lifestyle activities into valuable rewards from their insurance company, employers, and brands. We are taking advantage of the proliferation of mobile applications and devices that are helping people more easily track their healthy activities and building a rewards layer that allows companies to confidently and systematically reward your healthy choices. That pitch took me 3 months to figure out as part of the TechStars program. We have raised $1.5 million. We are seed funded by Primera Blue Cross. We will generate about $500,000 in revenue this year, and we would not be here had it not been for our experience at TechStars. We came into TechStars thinking that we had an interesting idea, and until I faced my Simon Cowell, which was Andy Sack, did I not realize that my idea might have been good. Generally, my approach to solving this problem sucked. The way that I was introducing the problem sucked. And I didn't have a good structure for how I was going to spend the next 3 months mitigating what we're all trying to mitigate as startup entrepreneurs, which is risk. Taking risk out of the equation is what TechStars helps us accomplish. And we have a great opportunity to de-risk our great ideas by being constantly surrounded by great mentors like Rob Capella, who's sitting in the second row, who is one of my mentors and spent every week with me, challenging me on my assumptions, making sure that I wasn't completely, I'm moving and that's probably hard, making sure that I wasn't completely off the reservation. And what I particularly valued about my TechStars experience was the ability to get persistent feedback from a whole host of mentors that were there for no other reason than to help me be successful. Like we think that other people want to help us be successful. The reality is a lot of people in the real world would like us to fail and take pleasure in failure. And it's this sort of innate animal element. But at TechStars, it was really safe. And the people that surrounded the 10 teams that were selected to participate were really there because they genuinely cared about helping you build a great business. Whoever said the first comment, really make a difference. So the persistence of mentor feedback, very valuable. It's pattern recognition. You can hear things with consistency, and you can make changes fairly quickly. The other 3 things that I gained from being in TechStars, first was accountability. There is nowhere to hide when you are surrounded by 9 other teams that, while collaborative, are also competitive. We're all competitive at some level in here, and we all want to be the best. So when we got on stage on November 6th, yeah, did I want to get on stage and I wanted to get off that stage and have people say, yeah, that was awesome, like, that was the best presentation. Sure, I wanted everybody to be successful, but it's competitive, so you want to make sure that you're investing as much of your effort and time as you can in that 3-month period to be your best. And all of those team members are holding you accountable to excellence. It would be embarrassing for us had we gotten up on stage on November 6th in front of 600 people and did not do justice to our peers that were also in the program, to our mentors that invested in us, and to the community that is looking at TechStars or Kinect, the Kinect Accelerator as being a model for excellence and innovation. So first was accountability. The second was credibility. Again, before TechStars, my co-founder and I, Marcelo Calbucci, we were 2 guys that thought we were onto something neat, trying to solve a big problem. but nobody really knew about us. Nobody was paying particular attention to us. And so TechStars provided us a vehicle to get that stamp of approval and credibility. It's like probably where many of you are working today. You have a particular reputation or a resume. It's nice to have had, oh yeah, I'm in the TechStars program, or I'm in the Kinect Accelerator. It's a very easy entree to have conversations with people who normally wouldn't schedule a meeting with any of us for like 2 or 3 months because they're so busy. Oh, you're in this accelerator program. Oh, that's great. I'd love to meet with you. Non-threatening. So it allowed us to get access to key influencers for the business problem we were trying to solve fairly quickly. And then the third one was focus. When I told you at the beginning that we are a mileage rewards program for your health, the idea was to push us to be able to communicate every move to the equivalent of an 11-year-old. Like if an 11-year-old can't kind of grasp what we're doing, the reality is no investor is ever going to grasp what you're doing. Why? Because they don't have enough bandwidth to really understand what you're doing unless you're able to capture it for them in five seconds. So drilling down from our original thesis, which was, oh, we're a marketplace where people can share their lifestyle activities and get benefit. It was totally ambiguous and odd and awkward, but TechStars forced us to focus. And the forcing event or focus at TechStars, and in this program as well, is I've got 6 minutes on stage to tell you all about my business, from my competition to my market size, to my business model, to the problem I'm solving, to my solution, to my team. And I have to do that fairly fast. So TechStars was huge for focus. The camaraderie among our other 9 team members or teams in TechStars was incredibly special. It is a unique experience in our lives, and since these aren't official interviews, how many people are in their 20s here? Okay, how many people are in their 30s? 40s? 50s? 60s? Okay, great. So there's a broad range of experience that came to TechStars. I was on the upper end of that range, not the oldest I'd like to say, but I was on the upper end of that range. I've been an entrepreneur for a number of years. I had started a company and sold a company, and so people ask, well, why would you want to do TechStars again? Because it is such a unique experience. How often do you get to pull the ripcord on your life and incubate in an environment for 3 months where you're all sharing a fairly rigorous boot camp experience? So the friendships and the social bonds that we made that are very special and will continue to need to be invested in to make as powerful as I know they can be is something that I'm grateful for and appreciate Andy giving me the opportunity to participate. So that was our experience at TechStars in 5 minutes. There's a lot of infill there, and I'd be happy to answer any questions that you have for me.
Andy, why don't you come on up too? Andy Stack, hand for Andy Stack too. The man who took a risk on Mr. Benaroya. We'll entertain any types of questions that you guys have regarding the accelerator. JP will answer technical questions after he does his demonstration, so you can save that for later. Let's talk about the program. Yes?
So, what would you say is one of the critical items to success in entering the accelerator program,
Yes.
the TechStars program?
Yeah, I would say the #1 critical item to success is vulnerability. The willingness to look in the mirror and self-reflect and know that you don't know what you're doing and be willing to say that. And be willing to take advice from the mentors, not in a defensive way, but in a grateful way. And then you can digest if that advice is valuable to you or not. Vulnerability.
Does this work?
Yeah.
Do I need it?
Keep it close.
Yeah.
Yes, for the...
Okay. I would just add to that, it's a similar version of that. which is on day one, if you're lucky enough to be one of the 10 companies, on day one you'll be told that you were chosen because of the team, not because of your specific idea. And most of the ideas and the execution of the TechStars companies change a lot based on the feedback that they get. And probably, I think, the most valuable thing, I've done 4 startups myself, sold 3 successfully. I would put if I were to do another, if I were crazy enough to do another startup, I would put it into TechStars. I think the value is off the charts, and it's because of the feedback. With that feedback, as a first or second time entrepreneur, the downside of all that feedback is what's called mental whiplash. And so it's your job to be vulnerable enough to listen, and crazy enough after hearing it all the time and being told to go this way, to put your foot down and say, this is where we're going. And I think as the entrepreneur is watching the classes, the entrepreneurs struggle with that because they're vulnerable and they're listening, and they're also they're hearing conflicting things. Somewhere in that conflict is a tension within yourself about what direction you should be going, and it really teaches the entrepreneur to be like, no, I need to lead. Let's go this way.
Can you describe Microsoft's commitment to improving the technology, Kinect software and technology?
You know what, I think that'll be a good question for JP. The question was about what's Microsoft's commitment to the technology. But yeah, the technology question will be good for him. Yep.
How far off the mark were you in terms of your idea from before you entered the program versus after? Like, did you feel like when you started the program, like, you had a good vision for your plan, and then at the end of it, then the accelerator program helped you to get to that point where you actually realized your vision, or once you got to the end of the program, was your vision completely different for for what you were doing?
Yeah, good question. So the question was, how far off your plan were you from when you entered the program to when you finished the program? Did you completely revamp your entire business idea as a function of being a participant? In our particular case, we were not that far off. We were horrible at how we were articulating it, but our thesis remained pretty solid throughout the program. But that's not necessarily representative of all the teams, and Andy can talk to that a bit. I mean, there were individuals in the first day, maybe the first day, there was one team blew up, another team completely abandoned their idea, and miraculously figured out a path to success that has put them in good stead. So it is across the spectrum.
Yes.
What's the typical range of size of the teams that get involved?
Okay.
Generally 2 to 4 people.
That was the typical size of the range of the teams. For
There
those of you in our viewing
are
audience.
no single founders. If you're a single founder, find a teammate.
So what percentage of those 10 companies actually got funded?
8 out of 10.
What percentage of those 10
There are
companies actually got
let me change
funded?
that. There are 7 out of 10. I believe the number will be 8 out of 10 very soon.
Andy, repeat the question.
The question was,
I already did. No other questions? Yes.
Since this is tied to proprietary Microsoft hardware, how's this going to be different in terms of regular TechStars? How do you foresee it being different? Have you thought about that?
How is the program, okay, so the question is, how is the program different than regular TechStars? So this is Microsoft's Kinect Accelerator powered by TechStars. So the mentor-driven approach that TechStars pioneered and has used now in several cities throughout the US is the approach we're going to take. Some of the subtle differences are, 1, it's sponsored by a company, in this case Microsoft. 2, we're focused on a particular platform. TechStars typically will take anybody in any high-tech realm, whereas in this case, if your application or your solution doesn't leverage the Kinect, you're not eligible. The third thing is really about the mentors. So yes, we'll have the same types of mentors that a typical TechStars program would have, but we'll also have direct access and mentors from the source, in this case, Microsoft, coming to help. Yeah?
Did you maintain a full-time job while doing this Kinect Accelerator program?
No. So the question was, can you maintain a full-time job while attending Kinect Accelerator? No, is the answer to the question. It's more than a full-time job. I mean, there were people that, so we're very clear, let me change that. In year one, we stated it, and there were a couple people that tried to get creative about full-time jobs. It doesn't work. It doesn't work for the individual, and it doesn't work for the program. And so it just, like, in year two, we were much more emphatic about the full-time commitment being required. And that places a strain. I mean, I know financially it places a strain, but if you're gonna make your startup successful, it requires, and be in the Kinect Accelerator, it really requires a commitment level to the challenge, and the opportunity is to perform at a greater professional level with more effectiveness, more output, and accelerate faster during a 3-month period than you have in your normal life. And that you can't do that working a full-time job and doing it on the side.
Yes?
Is there anything you wish you had done to prepare before going in? So for example, if I'm going to climb something, I train ahead of time. Is there something that you learned through that process that you would share with the rest of us?
So the question is there something I would have done ahead of time to prepare for the process? Yeah, I would have prepared my family better for the process and managed their expectations. But I was totally absent for 3 months, and I'm not alone. It puts a real strain on your life. So being prepared for that would have been.
And from a business perspective?
No, I don't think so.
I would just, the clearer you can be about what you're trying to set out to do, and the clearer you can be on paper with those things, I think really helps. I for sure would read Lean Startup and watch Steve Blank videos.
How'd you deal with workload management? I mean, going through the process, you're dealing with so many different things. Is there advice that you give us now to kind of like mentally prepare? How can you organize yourself through this process to better grasp what's going on and to use it?
Yeah. In hindsight, thank you. So the question was, how can you better prepare for workload management to address all that's going to be coming at you and perform at a high level, right? Okay. So I would say the one thing is effectiveness with your partner, your co-founder, and communication with your co-founder, because 1 + 1 really does need to equal more than 2 to get done what needs to get done. So being very communicative about goals and objectives, being very clear about who owns what. Like, my responsibility is this, your responsibility is this. So sometimes there's some dividing and conquering, and making sure that you're also sharing very candidly with your partner, hey, what's working, what isn't, how are we growing together? Because I think the only way you get through this program successfully is figuring out how to manage successfully with your co-founder, and not everybody does. And I would say that we struggled with that as well. And every time we met with Andy, he told us to rate on a scale of 1 to 10, team effectiveness, team effectiveness, team effectiveness. But I'm glad he did that.
So just an anecdote on that. I meet with the teams, as Dave will meet with the teams each week. One little trick that I learned was I literally asked the teams each week to rate themselves on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being highly, highly effective and 1 being not effective at all, suck it, to rate team effectiveness. And it was really interesting. I got 3 answers on a scale of 1 to 10. The teams that were laughing and having fun and like you could see it in their bodies, would rate team effectiveness an 8. No 9s, no 10s. They rate an 8. the teams that were close to breaking up, in real trouble, would rate each other a 4. No 1s, 2s, or 3s, just 4. And everybody else was a 6. And so as long as I got an answer generally in the room of 6 or 8, I was fine. As soon as I heard 1, 4, I knew the team was at risk. Two out of the 10 teams, 1 broke up the first week, 1 broke up the week after. The number 1 risk facing your company, whatever your business is internal combustion, right? That means team breakdown. That means poor communication. I don't like you anymore. I don't like the way you work. We don't communicate, et cetera, et cetera. It's whether you get into TechStars or not.
Kinect Accelerator.
Or Kinect Accelerator. If you get into either one, the number 1 thing I would encourage you to do is get in the habit of asking your teammates, let's rate each other on a scale of 1 to 10 every week, because it just sort of becomes regular practice. And if someone all of a sudden goes, I'm not happy, and you have 3 to 4 months of data of 6 or 8, you're like, what, WTF?
We're on camera. Good catch.
There you go. So that's my tip, and I think it's really effective for all of you to use.
You guys, this is great advice. Accelerators or not, the 2 bits of great advice. You guys have been through it. Last question. Yeah.
I assume these 2 to 4 people don't have to be all technical or all business, right? You want to have a mix of both. What is the best ratio? Kinect is extremely technical, right? So what would you advise?
So the question is team composition. What's the right mix? All technical, all business, and the answer is there is no right answer. It's you want a highly effective team, and it needs at least 1 technical person. Generally speaking, Kinect Accelerator as well as TechStars will lean toward technical teams. So 2 technical people is fine, 2 technical people and 1 business person is fine, 1 and 1 is fine, 3 business people not fine.
Okay, I lied. I'll take 1 more question. Yeah.
If you've been running a business of your own, whether it's providing a service or anything, does progression through Kinect Accelerator, TechStars or anything like that, does that present a conflict at any point? I mean, I understand the part about full-time commitment and that, but just any legal, maybe that's something you talk to a lawyer about, but is there a legal ramification for engaging your new company, so to speak? And is there any conflicts, I guess, with that?
So what I heard was you're running an existing business, and this is a business that you want is your vehicle to apply to Kinect Accelerator? Or
A new one would be born, so to speak, in Kinect Accelerator.
Oh, got it. You may have some experience
Fine.
with this.
Fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Create a new company. Great.
Fair.
Yeah. Bonus question. Don't have any more free stuff to give out.
Nobody asked, how do you get in?
Yeah. How do you get in?
Nobody asked, how do you get in? And
What's your criteria of select the kind of company?
yeah, so I'll talk a little bit about. You want to talk about that?
Go ahead.
So the main when's the final? I don't know the dates. When are the final apps?
8th. Wednesday.
Wednesday. So and then when do you let finalists know? The 20.
The chosen group will be notified on the 5th of March.
So application to do the 8th. Time is tight. There are a lot. If you look around, there are a lot of people here. I'll just tell you that David and Jennifer and team have been traveling to Boston, San Francisco, New York, meeting similar sized, if not larger rooms. So I think enthusiasm and interest in the Kinect Accelerator powered by TechStars is high. It's in the order of hundreds of applications. I don't know if it's 200 or 500, but it's in that zone. So you need to stand out. How do you stand out? You're really succinct and clear about what you get in your application, and then you engage in the process. And the way you engage in the process is by really engaging with David and Jennifer as well as the mentors of the program. So I don't know what avenues. I know David is having meetings tonight. Make sure you get the meeting tonight. If you don't get a meeting tonight, make sure you get 10 minutes with Dave another time. Like you gotta stand out, you gotta make your case, because there's hundreds of applicants and it's a really competitive program, and it's not the best technology does not win. The passion, ability to take feedback, if Dave or some of the other mentors give you input, it's take that input and react to it. Say, hey, I thought about what you were saying and I totally disagree, right? Here's why I disagree, these 3 reasons. I love those emails. Or, like I had one meeting, and I'll tell you, this was probably the person who I think did the best job, Nick Soman from Lightbright in our last class of TechStars did this the best. And so he came to, I have an open coffee every Tuesday at Louise's, and he came and said, I want to get into TechStars. I was like, okay, what's your idea? He told me about his idea. I was like, that's a stupid idea. It was a stupid idea. Sorry, I'm pretty direct like that. It was like basically like matchmaking, trying to get a third party to forward emails to hook people up with dates. And I was like, the third party's not, that has no interest in trying to get you laid.
Paid.
Yeah, paid.
Right.
Paid. So I gave him that feedback, and I was like, how many customers have you spoken to? And he was like, well, and I could tell, like he sort of fudged the answer. I could tell the answer was none. So I was like, look, after you've spoken with 50 customers, and you think that that's still the right idea, if you don't believe me, go talk to 50 customers, come back and tell me what you learned and how your idea evolved. 2 days later, 48 hours later, he came and he had 50 surveys filled out. And as a result of that, he had totally changed his idea. And I was like, okay, this is a guy that I could work with. And from that point on, really, the entire 3 months, and I think he's really on, like when you actually dig into his product, he just engaged, he just applied Lean Startup really, really aggressively. And I think he has, the likelihood that he's successful continues to climb, which doesn't mean he will be. It just means his probability of being successful is going from 5% to maybe 40 or 50%. So that's what I mean. The way you get in is stand out and engage in the process. The way you engage with the process is engaging with the feedback from the mentors and the people running the program.
I'll add on to that. February 8th is the application deadline. You need to submit your applications by then if you haven't already. However, you can add notes, and you can continue to add notes as long as you would like to your applications. And we look for that. We look for progress. We look for people interested. We look for people emailing and communicating. We want to know how you're moving forward and that you're really focused on making this a successful venture. Last question. Yes.
Was that guy you just mentioned a single guy? Just one guy?
He got engaged during TechStars.
Was he a single guy or was he a single founder?
He was a single guy during the program. He had a team of 3, and he was one of the 2 teams that broke up. They dissolved. They were one of the, I think they were, next to Russell, they were one of the hottest presentations at Demo Day. They had a lot of investor interest. The week after Demo Day, they broke apart. They had trouble communicating during the program. He's regrouped. He has a new technical co-founder and is pressing ahead. And his product is pretty impressive. And he got engaged.
All right, we are eking into interview time and JP's time. I want to thank Andy and Russell for providing that information.